What if I told you that everything you've been taught about achieving your goals, every motivational mantra, every productivity hack, might actually be holding you back? Bold claim, right? But hear me out. The truth is, we've been conditioned to think that success is all about dreaming big, visualizing the perfect outcome, and grinding endlessly. But what if there's a better way? A way that's less about the hype and more about getting actual results? That's where pragmatism comes in. This isn't just another feel-good theory. It's a no-nonsense, practical approach that flips the script on traditional goal setting. It's about cutting through the fluff and doing what actually works. So, if you've ever felt stuck, overwhelmed, or like you're spinning your wheels chasing goals that seem just out of reach, stay with me. In this video, we're diving deep into how you can use the power of pragmatism to not just set your goals, but actually achieve them without losing your mind in the process. Let's get started. Number 1. The ruthless priority principle. Let's face it, most of us are drowning in an endless to-do list, and half of the things on it don't actually matter. But here's the bold truth. You're probably wasting more time being busy than you are being effective. Harsh? Maybe. Accurate? Absolutely. What if I told you there's a way to instantly slash your workload, eliminate the fluff, and make real progress toward your goals? It's called the ruthless priority principle, and trust me, it's a game changer. Yes, it sounds intense, but stick with me. I promise, this isn't about turning into some cold, unfeeling robot. It's about taking back your time, your energy, and your sanity. You know that feeling when you spend all day working, but still end up thinking, what did I even accomplish? We've all been there. You tell yourself that answering emails, reorganizing your desk, or checking off minor tasks is productive. But deep down, you know none of it moves the needle. You're stuck in the cycle of doing what's urgent, not what's important. And the worst part, it's exhausting. By the end of the day, you've got nothing left for the things that really matter: your big goals, your relationships, your own well-being. Here's the twist. The ruthless priority principle flips this whole mess on its head. It's not about managing your time better. It's about managing your focus. You don't need a fancier planner or a new app. You need to make one brutal, liberating decision. What's the one thing that matters most right now? Not 2 things, not 5. 1. And here's the catch. You have to commit to it like your life depends on it. Yes, this might mean saying no to your boss's last-minute requests, skipping happy hour with friends, or even leaving some tasks undone. Gasp. But hear me out. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you're saying no to something that could change your life. I get it. It's easier said than done. Let me tell you about a time I used this principle myself. A few months ago, I was swamped with work, editing videos, answering client emails, prepping for a presentation, and somehow trying to keep up with personal goals. One day, I decided enough was enough. I sat down, looked at my to-do list, and ruthlessly crossed out everything that wasn't directly tied to my biggest goal at the time: completing a portfolio-worthy project for a dream client. I ignored urgent emails, skipped a few meetings that didn't add value, and poured all my energy into that project. And guess what? Not only did I deliver something I was proud of, but that client ended up referring me to more opportunities, which skyrocketed my career. The emails, the meetings, they didn't even matter in the end. Here's why this works. Focusing on one priority gives you clarity and momentum. When your energy isn't spread thin, you're sharper, faster, and more creative. You stop wasting time on low-value tasks, and suddenly you feel like you're in control of your life again. And no, it's not selfish to prioritize yourself and your goals. It's necessary. Think of it like this: you can't pour from an empty cup, and you definitely can't achieve greatness if you're constantly drained by everyone else's demands. So, here's the takeaway. Ruthlessness isn't a bad thing. It's an act of self-respect. When you commit to the things that truly matter, you're reclaiming your time, your focus, and your future. The next time you're staring at a packed to-do list, ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do today that will make the biggest difference? Then do it. Be unapologetic about it. Your space, your peace, and your success are worth fighting for. Number 2, failure leverage formula. Let me hit you with something bold. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the engine that drives it. Sounds counterintuitive, right? Most of us spend our lives avoiding failure like it's some toxic monster that will ruin everything. But here's the truth. Failure isn't your enemy. It's your biggest untapped resource. And if you're not leveraging it, you're leaving so much potential on the table. Trust me on this. What I'm about to share isn't some motivational fluff. It's a practical strategy I call the failure leverage formula, and it's about turning every screw-up into a power move. Now, think about this. How often do you beat yourself up over mistakes? Maybe you botched a project at work, said the wrong thing in an important conversation, or tried something new that completely flopped. We've all been there. And if you're like most people, your first instinct is to replay the disaster in your mind like a bad movie marathon. You spiral into self-doubt, swear never to try again, and stay safely in your comfort zone. Sound familiar? Yeah, me too. But here's the thing. What if that failure wasn't the end of the road? What if it was the key to making your next move 100 times smarter? Here's the formula. Every failure contains two things, data and opportunity. The data is what went wrong, and the opportunity is how you can use that to do better. The twist? Most people stop at the data. They see the failure, get discouraged, and miss the opportunity. But the failure leverage formula says, lean into the mess, pick it apart, and find the hidden advantage. Think of it like mining for gold in a pile of rubble. Yeah, it's not glamorous, but what you uncover can be life-changing. Let me give you an example. A while back, I took on a freelance editing project that I thought was going to be a breeze. Turns out, I completely underestimated the scope. The deadlines crushed me, the client wasn't happy, and I ended up refunding part of the payment just to smooth things over. It stung, bad. But instead of wallowing in the failure, I forced myself to look at it differently. I sat down, broke it apart, and figured out what went wrong. I didn't set clear expectations. I didn't buffer enough time for revisions, and I wasn't as upfront about my workload as I should have been. That project taught me more about managing clients than any course or tutorial ever could. The next time I landed a big project, I crushed it because I'd already made the mistakes and learned from them. Here's why this works. Failure rewires your brain in a way that success can't. It makes you sharper, more resilient, and better prepared. But only if you let it. If you treat failure like a dead end, you stay stuck. If you treat it like a detour, it becomes a shortcut to growth. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's humbling. But discomfort is where the magic happens. This isn't about glamorizing failure or pretending it's fun. It's about owning your mistakes instead of letting them own you. It's about reclaiming your power by saying, yeah, I messed up, and now I know better. Imagine what that could do for your confidence. Imagine what that could do for your life. So here's your takeaway. Stop running from failure and start leveraging it. The next time something blows up in your face, don't waste time sulking. Ask yourself, what's the data? Where's the opportunity? And then use that to come back stronger. This isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Your space, your peace, and your success are built on the lessons you learn when things go wrong. Don't fear failure. Leverage it. Number 3, the results first mindset. Let me start with something that might make you a little uncomfortable. Most people focus on the wrong things when trying to achieve their goals. We obsess over the process, the tools, the tiny details, and completely overlook the one thing that actually matters: results. Here's the hard truth. Nobody cares how much effort you put in if the results aren't there. Harsh? Maybe. But liberating? Absolutely. That's the power of the results-first mindset. It's not about working harder or even smarter, but about shifting your entire focus toward the outcomes you want. And once you embrace this, everything changes. Now, let's get real. You know that person who spends hours researching workout plans but never actually hits the gym? Or the friend who's always planning to start their side hustle but hasn't made a single sale? We've all been there in some way, haven't we? Pouring our energy into preparation, getting stuck in analysis paralysis, and convincing ourselves we're making progress when, really, we're just treading water. It feels safe because we're busy, but deep down there's that nagging question: am I actually getting anywhere? Here's where the results-first mindset flips the script. Instead of asking, "What should I do next?" you ask, "What result do I want, and what's the fastest way to get there?" It's about cutting through the noise, ignoring what's popular or easy, and laser-focusing on what actually moves the needle. I know it sounds simple, maybe even too simple. But simplicity is often where the magic lies. Let me tell you about a time this mindset saved me. A few years ago, I was working on a big video editing project for a client. I spent hours tweaking transitions, color grading, and making everything look perfect. It was beautiful, except the client didn't care. They wanted quick edits that fit their deadline, not cinematic masterpieces. I'd wasted so much time trying to impress them with details that didn't matter. The next project, I went in with a different approach. I asked myself, what's the result they want, and how can I deliver it efficiently? The work wasn't just faster, it was better because it gave them exactly what they needed. And you know what? They were thrilled. Here's why this works. Focusing on results clarifies your priorities. It strips away distractions and forces you to be brutally honest about what's worth your time. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. This mindset doesn't mean cutting corners or sacrificing quality, it means putting your energy where it counts. You stop wasting time on things that only look good on the surface and start creating real, measurable impact. And here's the best part. It's empowering. When you focus on results, you take control. You stop relying on excuses like, "I don't have enough time," or "I need more resources," and you find a way to make it work. It's about reclaiming your power and proving to yourself that you're capable of delivering even under pressure. So, here's the takeaway: the results. First mindset isn't just a strategy, it's a shift in how you see everything. It's about valuing outcomes over effort, progress over perfection, and impact over busyness. The next time you're faced with a task or a goal, don't get bogged down in the details. Ask yourself, what result do I want, and how can I get there? And then do it. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how hard you tried, it's about what you achieved. Your focus, your growth, your success. It all starts here. Number 4. The network manipulation strategy. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to know exactly the right person at the right time? Whether they're looking for a job, a business deal, or even just advice, they magically pull out the perfect connection like it's no big deal, and you're sitting there thinking, how do they even know that many people? Well, let me let you in on a little secret. It's not magic, and it's not luck. It's strategy. A very specific strategy. I call it the network manipulation strategy. And before you roll your eyes or assume it's about being sneaky or fake, hear me out. This isn't about using people. It's about building connections in a way that's intentional, mutually beneficial, and yes, incredibly effective. You know what I'm talking about though, right? That feeling of being stuck because you don't know who to turn to. Maybe you're looking for a new opportunity, or maybe you're trying to solve a problem, and your first thought is, if only I had the right connection. We've all been there. And let's face it, networking as we traditionally think of it can be awkward. Small talk at events, LinkedIn messages that feel robotic, it's not exactly inspiring. But the truth is, you don't need to know everyone. You just need to know the right people and know how to make those relationships count. Here's the twist. The network manipulation strategy isn't about working harder to meet more people. It's about working smarter to make meaningful connections with fewer people who can open the right doors. It's about being deliberate. Think of your network like a spider web. Every connection you make has threads that branch out, leading to other opportunities. Instead of trying to build a massive, tangled web, focus on making your threads strong and purposeful. Let me give you a real-life example of how this played out for me. A few years ago, I was trying to land a freelance video editing gig with a major brand. I didn't have a direct in, but I knew someone who worked with a creative agency that partnered with them. Instead of cold emailing the brand or sending my portfolio into the void, I reached out to my contact at the agency. I asked for advice, insight into what the brand was looking for, and, when the timing felt right, a soft introduction. That introduction, it landed me the gig. The magic wasn't in knowing hundreds of people, it was in knowing how to leverage the right connection at the right time. What makes this strategy so effective is the psychology behind it. People like to help others they feel a genuine connection with, especially if it's clear you're not just taking, but also giving value. This isn't about manipulation in a negative sense. It's about aligning your goals with opportunities in a way that feels organic. The key is to approach networking with intention. Instead of asking, "Who can help me right now?" Ask, "How can I build a relationship that might create opportunities for both of us later?" Here's the best part. The network manipulation strategy isn't just about career wins. It's about building a support system that helps you grow, challenges you, and expands your perspective. It's about learning how to connect with people on a level that feels real, not transactional. Yes, it's strategic, but it's also deeply personal. When you invest in your network, you're not just collecting contacts, you're building a bridge to your future. So, the next time you feel stuck or unsure where to turn, remember this. You don't need to know everyone. You just need to know how to connect with the right people, in the right way, at the right time. That's the power of the network manipulation strategy. It's not about taking, it's about building, growing, and making things happen. And trust me, when you master this, the possibilities are endless. Number 5, goal cannibalization technique. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're working so hard on your goals, yet somehow you're not moving forward? Like you're spinning plates, but instead of progress, you just feel drained and frustrated? Well, here's the twist you didn't see coming. What if the problem isn't your effort, but the fact that your goals are actually competing with each other? Yes, competing. It sounds weird, but stick with me because I'm about to introduce you to something I call the goal cannibalization technique. A strategy that will completely change how you approach success. Now, we've all been there. You start the year or a project with this big burst of motivation. You write down your goals, and they're all over the place. I'm going to get fit, learn a new language, start a side hustle, spend more time with family, and finally read those 20 books. Sounds familiar, right? But then, weeks or months pass, and you're overwhelmed. You're juggling so much that none of it feels meaningful, or worse, your goals are sabotaging each other. You commit to extra hours at work for your side hustle but skip workouts. You take language classes but sacrifice sleep. It feels like no matter what you focus on, you're failing somewhere else. Here's where the goal cannibalization technique comes in. The idea is simple but revolutionary. Not all goals are meant to coexist peacefully. Some of them, when pursued at the same time, devour each other's potential. The trick is to identify which goals are fighting for the same resources, like your time, energy, and focus, and decide which ones deserve your full attention right now. You're not abandoning your other goals, you're just strategically sequencing them to avoid burnout and maximize results. Let me share how I stumbled across this. A while back, I was juggling 3 major goals: building my freelance business, getting in shape, and improving my public speaking skills. Sounds good on paper, right? But here's what actually happened. I'd spend long hours editing projects, which drained me mentally, leaving zero energy for workouts. On the rare days I did hit the gym, I felt so accomplished that I'd slack on preparing for my speaking engagements. And when I tried to focus on speaking practice, my freelance deadlines would suffer. It was a mess. Finally, I sat down and asked myself, what's the one goal that if I nail it, will make the others easier or even unnecessary? For me, the answer was clear: building my business. By focusing on that first, I could create financial stability, free up my time, and then use that momentum to tackle fitness and public speaking later. And guess what? Once I embraced this approach, everything started falling into place. The reason this works is rooted in psychology and energy management. Our brains have limited decision-making capacity and willpower. When we spread ourselves too thin, we hit decision fatigue, making it harder to succeed at anything. The goal cannibalization technique forces you to think long-term, to ask, which goal deserves to eat first? It's about prioritizing in a way that aligns with your life, not society's checklist of what you should be doing. This isn't about giving up on your dreams, it's about playing the long game. By focusing deeply on one major goal at a time, you're setting yourself up for sustainable wins. You're reclaiming your energy and your focus, and that's where real growth happens. So, here's my challenge to you. Take a hard look at your goals. Which ones are fighting each other? Which one, if achieved, would set off a domino effect for the others? Let go of the guilt for not doing it all right now. This isn't failure, it's strategy. And when you see how much more powerful you become by aligning your efforts, you'll never look at your goals the same way again. Remember, this isn't about doing more, it's about doing better. It's about building your life intentionally, one strategic choice at a time. Because when your goals stop competing and start working together, that's when you unlock your full potential. Thank you so much for watching. I truly hope this video gave you some fresh insights or a new perspective on using pragmatism to achieve your goals. If you found this valuable, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow and reach more people who might need this message. And if you're into content that dives deep into practical strategies for personal growth and success, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Know someone who's been struggling to make progress on their goals? Share this video with them. It might be exactly what they need to hear. I'd also love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever tried a pragmatic approach to goal setting, or do you have your own strategies that have worked for you? Let's start a conversation in the comments. I read every one and can't wait to hear your stories. Remember, achieving your goals isn't about perfection or following some rigid blueprint. It's about adapting, learning, and doing what works for you. Take it one step at a time, keep it practical, and stay focused on the things that truly matter. You've got this. See you in the next video.